I've discovered a once-in-a-decade moment in digital marketing, and you won't want to miss this one. Right now, the biggest advertising platforms in the world are racing to figure out something that none of them have cracked yet. ChatGPT is turning on ads for 800 million users, Google is scrambling to protect their search revenue, and the agencies who figure this out first are going to print money for the next 5 years. The playbook doesn't exist yet. The experts are being made right now, and a freelancer with 6 months of experimentation can know more than a 20-year agency veteran who's been ignoring this. The playing field is level. It won't stay this way for long, though. Today, I'm breaking down the service stack behind AI-powered ads management, what it is, why the economics are completely different from anything we've seen, and how to position yourself on the ground floor before this market gets crowded. This kind of shift has only happened a handful of times. Google AdWords in 2002, Facebook ads in 2012, and now AI ads in 2026. Now, I was there for the Google ads wave. I wrote it early, built an agency on it, created a course that over 10,000 people bought, and being a first mover on that platform changed my entire career. And if you don't know me, I'm Jeff Sauer. I've managed tens of millions of dollars in online ads over the past 2 decades, built an agency that made the Inc. 5000 list 5 times, and me and my partners had an 8-figure agency exit. And I'm telling you, AI ads management is the opportunity I'm most excited about since Google Ads launched. Not because the technology is cool, because the window is open right now. ChatGPT launched ads for over 800 million users. Google is stuffing ads into AI overviews to protect their search revenue. Perplexity is building a commerce engine, and almost nobody has figured out how to run campaigns on any of it yet. That's the opportunity. That gap between the platforms are live and somebody actually knows what they're doing. If you want to catch these shifts before they become obvious, hit subscribe. That's what this channel is for. Now here's my hot take on why this matters. You've seen 100 AI is changing everything videos, and they're not wrong, but those videos, they're the appetizer. This is the business model that makes all of this possible. Every free AI tool you're using right now, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, they need revenue to survive. Ads are how that happens. This is the engine behind the AI revolution. Without it, the whole thing implodes. So yeah, AI is changing everything, but this is the part that actually pays for it. So let's talk about why this is a new category and not just a new ad format. When Google Ads launched, or Google AdWords launched, it wasn't just banner ads, but on search engines. It was a completely different model. You bid on intent. You paid when somebody clicked. The whole economics of advertising changed. The same thing with Facebook. It wasn't just Google Ads, but on social media. It was targeting based on who people are, not what they're searching for. Different model, different skill set, different experts emerged. AI ads are the same kind of shift. We're moving from search engines to answer engines. Think about how people used to search. You type in a query, you get 10 blue links, you open 5 tabs, you compare, you decide. The user does all the work. Now you ask ChatGPT a question, and it gives you the answer. One answer. Maybe a few other options too. The AI did the synthesis for you. And that changes everything about advertising. In the old model, there were 10 organic spots and 7 ad spots on the page. Plenty of real estate. In the answer engine model, there's one answer, or maybe a carousel of 3 or 4 options. The inventory is shrinking, but the value of each placement is exploding. And here's a number that puts this in perspective. OpenAI is projecting $25 billion in ad revenue by 2030, and I think that number is way too small. That would make ChatGPT the 3rd largest ad platform in the world, behind only Google and Meta. We're not talking about a niche opportunity here. We're talking about a platform with 800 million weekly active users that's about to flip the switch on monetization. And the leads that come through, they're different. Our friend JJ Reynolds over at Vision Labs, who's a Measure You mentor, he's been doing a ton of AEO and AI visibility work. And he told me the leads they get from AI are the best they've ever seen. We're talking high double-digit conversion rates. Because when somebody asks an AI a question and the AI recommends you, that carries weight. That's not a banner ad somebody scrolled past. That's a trusted recommendation. So the CPMs are higher. It's speculated we'll see numbers like $60 CPM for ChatGPT ads, which is about 3x what you'd pay on Meta for display. But that comparison isn't apples to apples. You're not paying for impressions. You're paying for intent. You're paying for a recommendation inside a conversation where somebody is actively trying to solve a problem. That's a new category, not a new ad format. So let's look at what's actually happening right now across the platforms. I'm going to split this into 2 parts, the challengers and the incumbents, because they're playing very different games. First, the challengers. These are the companies building something new, not protecting something old. ChatGPT is a big one. OpenAI launched ads in the free and go tiers of ChatGPT. That's 800 million weekly users seeing sponsored content inside their conversations. The way it works is that ads show up as sponsored modules below the AI response, contextually matched to what you're talking about. You're planning a trip to Tokyo, you might see a sponsored hotel recommendation. You're asking about CRM software, you might see a sponsored option in the mix. The key thing here, and this is important, is that it's contextual, not behavioral. They're not tracking you across the web. They're reading the conversation you're having right now and matching ads to that intent. In some ways, that's more powerful than what Google or Meta can do because you're catching somebody at the exact moment they're trying to solve a problem. No, they don't have a self-service platform yet. It's an invite-only pilot program with big agencies. But that's going to change. And when it does, the people who have been paying attention will have a massive head start. Then there's Perplexity. They actually launched ads back in late 2024, sponsored follow-up questions. So you ask something, and one of the suggested follow-up questions is sponsored. Pretty native to the experience. But here's where it gets interesting. They paused the ad program in late 2025. Not because it failed, because they're pivoting to something bigger. They're building a commerce engine. Buy with Pro lets you purchase products directly inside Perplexity. One-click checkout, they've partnered with PayPal, the conversion happens inside the chat. Think about what that means. The entire funnel, ad, landing page, cart, checkout, collapses into a single step. And that's not a new ad format, that's a new transaction model. When Perplexity reopens ads, and they will, the brands who are already in their merchant program already have their product feeds indexed, and they're gonna have a huge advantage. So if you're thinking about this for clients or for yourself, get in that program now before the ads turn back on. Now let's talk about the incumbents, Google and Microsoft. They're not building something new, they're protecting something old. Google is in a weird position right now. AI overviews are cannibalizing their own search results. You know what I'm talking about. You search for something and there's an AI-generated summary at the top that answers your question. Great for users, but terrible for Google's legacy business model. Because if the AI answers your question, you don't click anything. No clicks, no ad revenue. Google essentially built a product that competes with itself. So what are they doing? They're stuffing ads into AI overviews. They've rolled out sponsored placements inside those AI-generated answers. It's already live if you're running Performance Max campaigns. Now, your ads can show up in AI overviews automatically. You don't even have to opt in. It's just happening. The opportunity here for service providers is helping clients understand what's actually going on inside their PMax campaigns, because Google isn't exactly being transparent about where your budget is going. Someone who can audit that, optimize for it, explain it, that is valuable. Then there's Microsoft Copilot, the sleeper. Everyone's focused on ChatGPT and Google, but Microsoft is quietly sitting on something powerful. They have access to the Microsoft Graph. That's your emails, your calendar, your documents, your company org chart. The context they can build around a user is insane. And they've got Bing Ads infrastructure already built. They know how to run an ads platform. They're just waiting for Copilot usage to hit critical mass. And for B2B specifically, Copilot might end up being the most valuable AI ads platform because they know you're a marketing director at a 500-person company who has a meeting about CRM software next Tuesday. That targeting doesn't exist anywhere else. So here's the takeaway from all this. The challengers, ChatGPT, Perplexity, they're inventing new models. The incumbents, Google, Microsoft, they're adapting old ones. Both represent opportunities, but they require different approaches. And right now, almost nobody has figured out either one. By the way, AI Ads Management was the #1 service I predicted for growth in our 99 services report. The service I'm most excited about of all of them. Comment services, and I'll send you the full list. So let's get into how you actually build a service around this. I'm going to walk you through 2 service stacks. The first one is AI Ads Management, and this is the main event. The second one is AI Visibility, which feeds into the ad stack. I'll cover that one in the next section. So let's start with stack 1. If you've watched my other videos on service stacking, you know I break things down into 3 tiers: low risk, implementation, and retainer. And that goes from low risk to high commitment. That structure works perfectly here. Low risk is your strategy package. This is how you get clients into the door without them having to commit a ton of budget. You're not running ads yet. You're doing the thinking. Campaign structure planning, budget allocation across platforms, audience strategy, which is different in AI because you're thinking about intent clusters, not keywords or demographics. Creative briefing. What formats work in the conversational context? You're basically handing them the blueprint. Here's what we would do, here's why, and here's what it would cost to execute. Low risk for them, but also high value. and it qualifies whether you're actually ready to move forward. And here's the thing, even if you can't implement everything today because the platforms are in private beta or the self-serve tools aren't live yet, you're setting yourself up to be the one who flips the switch when it opens. You're not trying to upsell them, but the upsell is built in. They trust you because you've been thinking about this longer than anybody else they know. Implementation is where you actually run the campaigns. This is your setup, your bid strategy, your audience testing. You're in ChatGPT's ad platform whenever self-service opens up. You're in Google PMax, optimizing for AI overview placements. You're testing Copilot for B2B clients. The work here is different from traditional paid media. You're not optimizing for keywords, you're optimizing for conversational context. What questions are people asking? What problems are they describing in natural language? How does the AI interpret that intent? It's a different skill set, which means there's room for new experts who aren't anchored in the old way of doing things. The retainer is ongoing optimization. Once campaigns are running, somebody needs to watch them, adjust bids, test new creative, report on performance, scale what's working. The retention angle here is strong because the platforms are evolving so fast. What works in January might not work in March. Clients need somebody who's staying on top of things they don't have time to track. Now, here's the thing that makes this different from Google or Meta ads. The economics are completely different. We talked about the speculated $60 CPMs on ChatGPT. That's premium. That's 3 to 4 times what you'd pay for a display on Meta. But here's why that comparison doesn't hold up. Traditional display ads are spray and pray. You show an ad to 1,000 people, maybe 3 of them care. You're paying for impressions, not intent. AI ads are recommendation-based. You're showing up inside a conversation where somebody's actively trying to solve a problem. The AI is essentially vouching for you, and that's a different kind of impression. So when somebody asks you, why would I pay $60 CPM when I can pay $15 on Meta? That's the wrong comparison. You're not paying for eyeballs, you're paying for trusted placement at the moment of decision. And that reframe is part of the value you bring as a service provider, helping clients understand why the old benchmarks don't apply. This is the kind of stuff we're workshopping every week inside Measure You Pro. How to position these services, how to price them, how to talk about them with clients who are stuck in the old model. Now let's talk about Stack 2, AI visibility. This is what some people call AEO, Answer Engine Optimization, or GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. And I want to address something right off the top because I know some of you are skeptical. There's a lot of noise out there about AI visibility being snake oil. And honestly, I get it. The results are personalized. You run the same prompt twice, you might get different answers. You can't guarantee rankings the old way you could do with old school SEO. The metrics are fuzzy and attribution is a nightmare. All of that is true. And that's exactly why this stack pairs with ads. Here's the reframe. You can't reliably control organic AI visibility, but you can buy your way into the answer. The audit just tells you where you stand and what gaps to fill. It's diagnostic, not a ranking guarantee. So, Stack 2 feeds Stack 1. You figure out where clients are showing up or not showing up in AI answers. Then you use paid placements to fill the gaps. Let me walk you through the tiers. Low risk is your AEO audit. You're answering one question. Are you even showing up in AI answers? And if so, how are you being represented? You run their brand through ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, Copilot. You document what comes back. You look for hallucinations. Is the AI saying things about them that aren't true? You look for gaps. Are your competitors showing up where your client should be? This is valuable even if they never buy another service from you, because most businesses have no idea how AI is representing them right now. You're showing them something they can't unsee. Implementation is where you fixed what you found. Schema markets so AI can understand their site structure, product feeds for commerce-enabled platforms like Perplexity, training data PR, getting mention in sources that AI models are trained on. This is more technical work. Not every client needs all of it, but for e-commerce brands especially, getting your product feed into Perplexity's merchant program before their ads reopen, that's a real competitive advantage. Retainer is ongoing monitoring. AI models update constantly. What they say about a brand today might change next month. Someone needs to be watching for hallucinations, tracking citation sources, cleaning up misinformation when it pops up. This is also where the synergy between organic and paid kicks in. Remember how having good SEO actually helped your Google ads perform better? Same thing here. If AI already knows about your brand and trusts the sources citing you, your paid placements carry more weight. The recommendation feels more natural because the AI has context. So you're not choosing between visibility and ads, you're building both, and they reinforce each other. If you're thinking about which services to add this year, comment services. AI ads management was just one of the 99 on the list, the one I'm most excited about, but there are 98 others depending on what kind of business you want to build. So what are the early adopters actually doing right now? Our research shows a few patterns. The agency is getting early access to ChatGPT ads, companies like the big ones, Omnicom, Interpublic, WPP. They're not waiting for best practices to emerge. They're running test budgets and building their own playbooks. Same with the brands in Perplexity's pilot program. They got in before the pause. They had campaigns running. Now they're positioned to scale when ads reopen because they already have data. That's the pattern. Get in before you have to, build the skill before the market demands it. Here's what that looks like if you're not a holding company with a direct line to OpenAI. First, get yourself into Perplexity's merchant program now. If you're in e-commerce or you have an e-commerce clients, this is a no-brainer. Your product feeds get indexed. When ads come back, you're already in the system. Everyone else will be scrambling to catch up. Second, start tracking where your brand shows up in AI answers or where your clients' brands show up. Just run the queries manually if you have to. Build a baseline because you can't optimize what you're not measuring. Third, experiment on yourself. Run some budget through Google PMax and actually look at where your ads are showing up in the AI overviews. Most people have no idea this is already happening inside their campaigns. Be the person who does. Fourth, if you're offering services, start with a low risk tier, strategy packages, audits. Get clients in the door with something that doesn't require a huge commitment. Position yourself as the person who understands this before you need to prove you can execute it at scale. And here's the thing about the strategy work. Even if you can't implement everything today because the platforms are in a private beta or the self-service tools aren't live yet, you're setting yourself up to be the one who flips the switch when it opens. You're not trying to upsell them, but the upsell is built in. They trust you because you've been thinking about this longer than anybody else they know. That's how you win in a new category. You don't wait for permission, you build the expertise while everybody else is waiting for a playbook to follow. So here's where we're at. AI ads are not coming, they're here. ChatGPT has ads. Google is stuffing them into AI overviews. Perplexity is building an e-commerce engine. Microsoft is waiting in the wings with more user context than anybody. The platforms are live, the budgets are moving, and the playbook doesn't exist yet. That last part is the opportunity. Every time a new category emerges, there's a window where the experts haven't been crowned yet, where somebody with 6 months experimentation knows more than the veterans who's been ignoring this, where you can build a reputation by being early instead of being the best. That window is open right now, but it won't stay open. The agencies who figure out AI ads management in 2026, they're going to own that category for the next decade. The same way the Google Ads pioneers own search, the same way the Facebook Ads early movers owned social. You can be one of them, or you can catch up later at 10 times the cost. If this video is useful, subscribe. This is what I do. I find these shifts before they become obvious, and I break down how to build services around them. And if you want the full list of services that I'm watching this year, comment services. AI ads management was number 1 on the list, the one I'm most excited about. But there are 98 others depending on what kind of business you want to build. The ground floor is now. Go build something.